Good morning, welcome back to the woods. And this morning you'll find me in a rather damp woodland. Rained all night last night and the midges are pretty awful. I knew this was going to happen because when you got nice warm weather and then a good downpour, they all come up. Well, I need to get a fire going, and today I brought with me basically an old bushcraft favourite, Mora clipper. If you follow me, then you know that I sharpened this knife and another one up a few months back. Well, basically reconditioned it because it was a rusty blunt lump. I put a sharp spine on it and I put a lovely, almost mirror polished 0 Scandi grind. Now this knife's got its limitations because it is pretty thin. It's only 2mm and I wouldn't do any heavy battening with this. I do a little bit of light battening, that's no problem, but it is a bit on the thin side. I'm going to get the fire going. I got plenty of split wood behind me from various knife and axe tests, so I'm going to use that up. No point cutting anything fresh, but I will have to do a lot of feather sticking and a lot of thin splitting because everything is soaking wet here. Haven't really modified the sheath, that's all I've done. Put a necktie on it and a little light my fire ferro rod. Matching, of course. I know you're probably thinking you really need to put something bright on there, but it's attached to the neckline, so it's not coming off there. When I need to light the fire, I'll just take the whole thing off. So I'm not going to put this down and lose it because it's attached to this whole lot. Kohansky style, and off to go. Now these particular splits have got a bit wet. They're a bit knotty, so I won't be battening them down. And they're a little bit wet because there was a hole in the tap. So I'm just going to use these as the base. Dug my old batten out from the wood pile. Obviously you can just use any old log. And I picked these two out for tinder and kindling. They're both pretty straight. That one's a little bit damp. That's the best one. So we'll probably get a few feather sticks out of that. I'm not going straight to the middle or anything. I'm just going to nibble it off because the knife is small and thin. That was a piece of cake. Absolutely easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. Good wood choice. Makes life a lot easier. Gotta make them a bit thinner now. That one's thin enough. That one's thin enough. Now the ones with the knots and crappy bits, they're no good for feather sticks. I'll get a few tidy feather sticks out of that, and that's kindling. I'm going to just batten the other one down with the slightly damp one. Can you see all these midges? Not very pleasant, let me tell you. Oh, they're not good. So there's one good one. I'm going to make 4 of them, and I'm going to make 4 rough ones as well. And I'll keep the straightest grain ones for these, and for the rough ones, well, it doesn't matter if there's a knot or a wiggle in the wood, because they're just going to be big thick curls. I call them my second stage feather sticks. That's the feather sticks done, and that's the final one, which I call my igniter stick, which has got really small curls on it, which I usually do with the tip. And they will catch a spark from a ferro rod pretty easy. Got to make 2 more rough ones, and I'm ready to go. So there's the slightly damp one split up. That took no time at all. There's my dry splits. Stage 2 feather sticks. Stage 1 feather sticks and the igniter stick. There we are. Knife performed really well. I think it just goes to show good preparation, no problem at all. I use a crisscross fire lay on top, get maximum oxygen in, and that's roaring away well now. I can put some bigger stuff on, get my kettle on. There we are, fire's in a parallel lane now, and that's how it's going to stay all day. As you can see, I put a few small sticks between the other ones because they are slightly damp. So as I say, more airflow, that won't take long and I'll be burning really well. Now behind me I've got a lot of split wood, and I've also got a big pile of feather sticks and a bag full of birch bark. But lighting a fire with that lot is easy, and if it was absolutely tipping down with rain, well, it may not be here if it was absolutely tipping down with rain, but I could just put the roof up, get a fire going really quick. But I like to practice my fire lighting, use different tools, and I just wanted to use that Mora today, and it performed excellent. And what were they when it came out? £10, £15, that's pennies. That's an excellent knife. The only thing, as far as I'm concerned, it does need the spine squaring off, and it won't be long before it needs a good sharpen. And I like a 0 Scandi myself. Yes, it's not as tough as a micro bevel, and it's a lot more difficult to sharpen, but if you use your tool in the correct way, and you use a saw and an axe with it, then it's an excellent piece of kit which will last you years. Now we need a cup of tea. And the midges have gone, which is excellent. I put a bit of damp wood on for a reason, get a bit of smoke going, get rid of them. Got a new piece of kit here, and this is a Yeti Flask. I don't exactly know which size it is. I didn't take that much notice, to be honest with you. I picked the size that was right for me for 2 cups, maybe 3 for work. And I bought it. Now, I'd never heard of Yeti before, but Nick started going on about Yeti cool boxes and how awesome and amazing they were. And last week when we were down in St David's in Pembrokeshire, we found a shop, a surfy shop, and they were selling Yeti gear. So I thought I'll buy one, because my old flask, which I use for work every day, this this clean canteen one isn't that good. To be honest though, if I put a cup of coffee in here at 7 o'clock in the morning, by 10 it's tepid. But as you can see, it's tough, it's had a good hammering, and every time I come to the woods, obviously you don't see this because you're not here. Every time I come to the woods, first thing I do is have a cup of coffee, I have a sit down and I have a think what I'm going to film and what I'm going to say. So I bring a cup of coffee, and it's fine for that, but for all day it's not very good. So I bought this one, and now I'm getting smoked out. It's 11 AM now, and it's time for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And I filled this last night full of boiling water. I primed it first with boiling water, give it a good shake, warm the inside up, and that was 11 o'clock last night. So this has had 12 hours of boiling water in here. And I want to see now if it's still warm. Who knows? Well, it's still warm, but it's just warm. Not really warm enough for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. But 12 hours isn't bad. I wouldn't be surprised. 6 hours would probably be okay. 12's a bit much. I was asking a lot. I have used it in work this week, but with cold water or squash. and it's kept it cold all day. It's nice and tough. I'll keep you posted on how this goes. So far it's a nice piece of kit. The only thing I did notice with it, when I was taking the top off, quite a few drips came out of it every time. But it's got a good seal. I'll keep you posted on it, but it didn't do 12 hours, whereas my little Stanley Aladdin executive one does still boiling after 12 hours. Bit of a short one this week, sorry about that, but my good pal Scott, Welsh Woodsman Outdoors, turned up and we spent 2 hours chatting, setting the world to rights. Usual sort of thing two guys do. And I just want to talk about this for a minute. I don't think they make these anymore with this checkered handle, but I do find this far more comfortable knife to use than the newer Moras. This is a lovely little knife. Pair it with an axe and a saw, you can't go wrong. And for the price these are, you just can't fault them. Granted, it's got a better edge on it, and it does work a lot better than the factory edge. So good little knife, cheap and cheerful, does the job. Well, thanks for watching. I do appreciate your comments, and I always appreciate the thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye. And get rid of these fucking midges. My good friend Scott turned up, and we basically spent 2 hours chatting, and I didn't exactly have the... Fuck, I don't know what I'm saying. Right, start again.